William Wagener here for a side interview with author Andrew Wilson. This is the book. It's called Broken Heart Stone. And it's really an unusual kind of book because it's got Michael Jackson's handprint.
Yes.
Andrew, tell me how this came about. How did you get the stone? Tell me the whole background. I know it's in the book, but people are watching there don't have the book yet.
You're very true. It's a very unusual and very unlikely story. It was something that I didn't plan. It was something that just happened. I wound up in Vegas, Las Vegas, the day that Michael died, and had a student competing at the World Championships. And somebody from Neverland had recognized me, and we got into a conversation about the death of Michael, because it was basically the talk of the town that day, and there was kind of a very thick cloud overhanging Las Vegas. And as a result of being in Las Vegas, there was a lot of talk about Michael's handprint, footprint, and autograph that was actually created for the Walk of Fame in 1984, and it had been raffled off, and the owner was trying to get rid of it. And when I caught wind of that, then I really jumped on it very aggressively, and I wanted to get the stone because it was my understanding that it was leaving the country. Somebody from the Middle East was flying over to get it, and that's where the story began. I did not know that I would ever be writing a book. A friend of mine, Mitz Yamashita, who's an Aikido master, founder of Combat Aikido, had told me, he said, Andrew, you need to write a book on this. He goes, this is Michael Jackson. And I started taking photos from day one all the way up until the end, and it's a fascinating story, and in a nutshell, how it went from a dark basement in Las Vegas to the mecca of Hollywood entertainment, the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California. It was no easy task. There were a lot of challenges. Some amazing stories, amazing stories.
Now, where is the actual stone yet today?
Well, it's an amazing story. I happened to have landed in Las Vegas on the day that Michael died, and the talk of the town that particular day was the death of Michael, obviously. And being in Vegas, there was a rumor that Michael's handprint, footprint, and autograph in cement was buried in the basement of the Riviera Hotel. It was my understanding that somebody was flying over from the Middle East to get the stone. And I thought, oh boy, not on my watch. And I gave my contact information to some people in Vegas. And eventually I was contacted by the owner of the stone, who had won it in a raffle, I believe back in 2006, for the Riviera Hotel. He got a hold of me, we negotiated, and I got the stone. Ironically, I got it as the guy was coming over from the Middle East. He was actually en route to the state of Michigan to meet somebody named Johnny, and Andrew got the stone. I never planned on writing a book, but the thing that was so sensational when we got it, I realized that we had something that was probably the holy grail of Michael Jackson memorabilia on several levels. Number one, Michael signed it, he put his handprint and his footprints. And his footprints actually is position number 3 in dance. So when I looked at that, I was very excited, I was very enthusiastic. I did not know what to do with it. I wanted to get it to the Chinese Theater. But what had happened is I had cleaned it the first night that I got it. The very next morning, the stone was completely dry, and the crack remained wet. Like if you look at the cracks in the cement, they're the last thing to dry. And I noticed there was a crack going across the stone. I was devastated, and I was contemplating calling the insurance company, filling out the paperwork, and it was going to be a real nightmare, and I was pretty depressed about it. But then we realized that Michael's handprint had a heart in it, and the crack went right across the heart. It was kind of an emotional moment for me and several people standing around there that had actually looked at it. We were like in shock, and it went in a moment from worthless to priceless. And with that, a number of friends had coaxed me. They said, hey, you need to write a book on this. So I had documented everything in photos from day one. And I wanted the book to be real special to the fans. We almost did not do the book. We almost did not do it because it was so difficult. Because we had to get Michael's handprint. We had to get the actual outline of the heart. Because if you'll look here on this, the actual heart, that is the actual heart in Michael's hand. And this is the actual crack line in the stone.
Just the way it looks on the one that's sitting at the Chinese Man Theater.
Absolutely. That's not an artistic rendering. That's the real deal. And so when people get this book and they want to put their hand in Michael's, they're able to do that. It's the only book of its kind. And the first 7,777, we actually have pieces of the stone along with a certificate of authenticity, which is really unique.
That's incorporated in this package. And I have one here Andy gave me. Number 77 of 7,777.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. Who's got number 77?
Actually, 77 went to the singer, Denise Michelle, who sang the song Broken Heart Stone. She did an incredible job, and that was a twist of fate meeting her. And then we also have another singer on there.
That's just amazing.
A.J. Nicholas. And he sings a song called Twist of Fate. We have two songs. One song is by the woman Denise Michelle, and A.J. Nicholas does the Twist of Fate. And they're incredible songs. So the CD is also included with the book.
The CD's in the package with the book.
Yes.
So they get the CD and the book and a little bit of the gravel from the stone.
Yes, you actually get the gravel from the stone. We have a certificate of authenticity in there. And we have a code in the book, so we know it's the real deal. If somebody tries to mimic it or make a copy of it, I won't go into detail on that now necessarily, but there's a way to tell, and I'll reveal that later. Because sometimes people want to do knockoffs, but we have the book coded so nobody can fake it. Like if you were to come to me in about a year or two from now or 10 years and say, oh, this is the original book, I'll know if it's the real deal. So we have a special code in there to know. But to make a book with Michael's handprint, the actual heart print, dust from the stone, certificate of authenticity, limited edition, a CD, 2 beautiful songs. I almost like the songs better than the book. I mean, I wrote the book, but I love the songs.
The
They're
songs
such
are
a
great.
blessing.
I've heard one of them. What are you going to do when you sell out the 7,777th one and they're all gone, and another million people say they want a copy?
Well, what we're going to do is we will have the book exactly the same. Right now we're negotiating with Barnes & Nobles and some other several distributors. It is available online for $7.77 as an ebook.
As an ebook.
If they want the hard copy of the book, which is the real deal, that's $77.77.
$77.77 for the whole package.
For the whole package.
For the real thing.
For the real thing. People had told me to charge more, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it affordable. It is a pricey book. It's $77.77, but it was so difficult to do it, and the cost of printing was just unbelievable. And to do what I wanted to get done, I'm glad that we're able to make it available for $77.77 because we've got the royalties to pay out for the singers. We have a small percentage going to the Cancer Foundation, colmed.org, who's one of the foremost cancer researchers in the world, Dr. Dana Flavin, in Europe, and she's amazing. And I feel personally that meant a lot to Michael, to help children who are suffering from cancer.
Oh, absolutely.
And we want to give proceeds of the sale to someone who's really trying to help people, and she has a heart of gold.
Absolutely. Are you aware that 7 was Michael's favorite number?
Yes, I am, and that's exactly why.
You made 7,777.
That's exactly why. We wanted this book to be so special. And
where can they get it right now? They have to go on a website, which is where?
brokenheartstone.com.